Martin Odegaard is a top midfielder. I mean, this is the guy that debuted for Madrid's first team at 16 and started captaining Arsenal at 23. He's definitely one hell of a baller. But the question right now is, how good is he really? Well, I'll break that down for you. But first, kindly give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now to the question of the day. How good is Martin Odegaard really? Well, let's start from the beginning. Odegaard started out playing in Norway, where he was born. He joined Drammen Strong when he was just 6 years old, and there he was coached by his dad. He spent 4 years there and left when he was 10. But the talents of this little kid would go on to make the little club a lot of money later in the future. We'll get to that later. Anyway, Odegaard moved to Strømsgodset in 2009, and you could say that was where his career really kicked off. From the moment he joined, he was already playing with guys older than him. The coach observed him and said that little Martin handled things brilliantly, made good choices, and had good touches. In 2011, when he was just 12, he competed in a nationwide tournament for under-16s in Norway, and one of the coaches who was watching said it was impossible not to realise that we were witnessing something out of the ordinary. He was very right. At 13, Odegaard debuted with the Strømsgodset first team, and that same year he made training visits to big European clubs including Manchester United and Bayern Munich. In 2014, at the age of 15, he was fully integrated into the first team and had grabbed the attention of more big clubs around Europe. That year, he trained with Liverpool, Bayern Munich again, and guess what? He visited Arsenal's training centre. Odegaard's abilities have become so evident for all to see that ex-Norway internationals, including former Liverpool man John Arne Riise, started calling for the kid to be called up to the Norway national team. And in August 2014, he was called up, and he made his debut on the 27th of August, becoming the youngest player to ever feature for the Norway senior team. The following month, he featured in a Euro 2016 qualifying game against Bulgaria, and that day, he became the youngest ever footballer to play a Euro qualifying game. He would then go on to become the youngest footballer to start a Euro qualifying game when he started against Croatia in March 2015. Anyway, the year 2015 was when Odegaard's big breakthrough came. He trained with Real Madrid in early January, and later that month, the Spanish giants signed him. Now, remember I told you that Odegaard's talents would go on to make his first club a lot of money? Yeah, listen to this. Following his transfer to Real Madrid, Strømsgodset gave Drammen Strong a gift of €29,000. Oh yeah, they just had to show appreciation to Drammen Strong for allowing them to experience this generational talent. Well, on the 25th of May 2015, that generational talent made history as he became the youngest player to ever feature in a game for the Real Madrid first team. He was just 16 years and 157 days old. Odegaard struggled to break into the star-studded Real Madrid midfield, so he had to be loaned out. In 2017, Barcelona actually wanted to snatch him from the hands of their rivals, but they had a transfer ban at the time, so it wasn't possible. So Odegaard ended up joining Dutch club Heerenveen on loan instead. The following year, he moved to Vitesse on loan, and there, you could tell that the boy was really maturing. He spent just one season with Vitesse, and that season, he was the club's best player. He scored 11 goals and provided 12 assists, and was voted Player of the Season by the fans. He was also named in the league's Team of the Year. That's to show you how good he was. And remember, he was only 20 years old at the time. After his loan season at Vitesse was done, Real Madrid loaned him out yet again, but this time, they wanted to keep him close in order to monitor his progress, so they loaned him to a La Liga club, Real Sociedad. At Sociedad, Odegaard absolutely blew up. The season resumed in August, and in September, he was named La Liga Player of the Month. But the most iconic thing he did as a Real Sociedad player was to contribute to the elimination of Real Madrid in the quarter-final of the Copa del Rey with a goal against his parent club in February 2020. Real Madrid saw that and immediately called him back from loan that summer. They had seen the light. Or so we thought. Odegaard was now a Real Madrid player again, and he even started the opening game of the 2020-21 La Liga season, and pretty poetically, it was against Real Sociedad. He would then go on to make his Champions League debut some months later in the group stage against Inter Milan, but the appearances only came sparingly, and Odegaard was frustrated. Midway into the season, the midfielder had only made 9 appearances for Real Madrid, so he made the bold decision to leave. It was always going to be a big decision to choose to leave one of the biggest clubs in the world, But Odegaard had dreams. He'd rather go to a smaller club and get regular first-team football than remain on the bench at the biggest club in the world. And well, because of how good he has proven to be, the downgrade we thought he'd have to settle for turned out to be him joining another big club. He moved to Arsenal in January 2021, and that was the start of a new chapter in the career of the Norwegian midfielder. Arteta was excited about the signing, and on joining, Odegaard himself said that Arsenal is a club that suits him well, and that became very obvious in no time. Odegaard blended so well in the Arsenal team that one would have thought he was raised in their academy. In March, he scored a golazo from 20 yards out in the Europa League round of 16 against Olympiacos, and that ended up being Arsenal's goal of the month. Then, a few days later, he scored again in the North London derby against Spurs, and of course, you know that a goal against Spurs will always mean the world to every Arsenal fan. So, Martin Odegaard was voted Arsenal Player of the Month for March 2021. Basically, after a spectacular half-season on loan, Arsenal knew they couldn't let this guy go, so they went on to make the signing permanent in the summer of 2021. They got a 22-year-old Martin Odegaard for just €40 million. And with all that's going on in the market right now, you have to say that that was one hell of a bargain. A year later, at the age of 23, Odegaard, who had not even spent up to 2 years at Arsenal, was named captain of the first team. And this came just a year after he was named captain of the Norway national team. Odegaard would go on to lead by example, winning the November-December Premier League Player of the Month award. And guess what? That was the first time that an Arsenal player had won the award since September 2019. Yes, that's how good Odegaard is. In January 2023, he scored against Spurs to help Arsenal secure their first away win over their city rivals in 9 years. And he seems to like derbies. He also scored against Chelsea, Fulham and West Ham last season. Odegaard wrapped up the season with 15 Premier League goals, making him Arsenal's joint top scorer and the highest scoring midfielder of the 2022-23 Premier League season. On top of that, he also provided 8 assists in the league that same season. Odegaard was just absolutely unstoppable, and he really led by example as Arsenal mounted a surprise title charge in the 2022-23 campaign. He was deservedly named Arsenal Player of the Season and was easily one of the best 2 midfielders in the English top flight that season. Still hungry for trophies, Odegaard would then go on to captain Arsenal to a trophy success for the first time when they beat Manchester City to lift the 2023 Community Shield. And I'm sure Arsenal fans around the world are hoping that it's just the first of many. So, how good is Martin Odegaard really? Well, he's so good that he can outscore some of your favourite strikers from the midfield, while still coordinating the team and dictating the pace of the game. How about that?